So I'm really in the flow right now. It is 3 a.m. right now here in Singapore, and I just know it's time to make this video. So it's going to be nothing fancy, no editing, just me speaking from the heart. And I hope this goes out to the right person who click on my video, who wants to learn about my mindset, how I think, sales and closing. In fact, this video is about sales and closing, and you can see how old I've grown over the years from closing. This HD camera can actually capture every single hole on my face. But this is me right now, and this is the full, raw, real me. So not much I can do about that. I want to focus on my message today, which is setting, closing, and sale, because there's only so many times I can receive questions about how to sell, and sooner or later you're going to realize that there's an infinite amount of questions that you can ask when it comes to selling, especially for those of you who are just getting started in this space and you have your own offer, or you're selling for someone else, or you're setting, closing for someone else, or you have got your own thing, business company going on. You realize that if you really wanted to, you could ask like infinite questions about selling. And if you're lucky, you're gonna have a coach or someone you pay to guide you, to train you, to mentor you, teach you. And if you're someone who invests in personal development, you're probably going to do that all the time. If you're lucky, you'll find a real teacher who is present, who answers your questions, who really not say like spoon feed you, but kind of guide and train you and push you until you kind of get it. Just like how my fencing coach did it for me, how my martial arts teachers did it for me. So if you want to improve your sales, knowing that sales, it's influence, it's persuasion, it's communication, it's going to take you to places that you can't go if you don't have those skills. So if you're lucky, you'll find someone like that. If you're not, you have to really depend on yourself. And there are tons of teachers, gurus, resources out there that you can find right now for free, paid, that is pretty much going to teach you all the what and all the how, right? 20 tonalities, 50 voice boxes, it never ends. And every season, every year, there's gonna be new. And these are all great because I invest in them too, wanna learn what other people are doing as well. And it is a good habit to invest in yourself and get trained and learn all the techniques. And I feel like that is not my gift. I feel like that is not what I'm here to teach you. I feel that that's not what I'm here to teach myself. Because there are two paths, two routes that you can go about doing this. And the first one is those with a highly intellectual consciousness, very methodical, very systematic, and you want to analyze and train. You will take the path that most people take, which is to build your fundamentals. You learn, like every book, every course you take is like rapport, right? And then you learn about their background, and then you ask about their goals. And I teach some of this stuff as well. That's what I learned. That's what you have to do when you're in this space. You ask about the pain, you diagnose the pain, you extract the root cause of that pain, you expose all the nightmare scenarios, what's going to happen if this doesn't change in 6 months, 6 years. And then you summarize the whole thing, and then you build urgency. Why should we do this now? And you kind of play the whole game and do the whole thing. Objections, money, time, spouse, multiple decision makers. And then you go through the whole thing, and then you keep sharpening your mind, right? You keep role play, you go through a series of offers, you go through your 100, 200 sales calls, and at some point in that mechanical path, it's going to click for you, and then you're like, okay, I now can see the whole picture. When I see other people do it, when I listen to sales calls, it's kind of like an English teacher who has been trained so much. And I can say this because I worked as an English substitute teacher before. It's kind of like you've been trained in that language so much. And now sales is a language. And you kind of you train in that language so much that you're like, if I just read that one sentence, I immediately know which part of the grammar is wrong. right? I can immediately see a typo. I can immediately see where the error is, and I understand why. And why? It's because when you study English and you take all the exams, like what we do here in Singapore, and you take all the tests, and like sooner or later, it's just part of you, right? So most salespeople are gonna take that route, and they become incredible, amazing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figure salespeople selling house, insurance, high ticket offers, luxury products, low ticket offers, fish, pork, chicken, meat, whatever, right? Because it's like you just know this is the language, and you've trained enough so that it clicks. So if you're out here hustling on YouTube, studying, training, that's your path. And the second part, which is more what I want to talk about, which is I feel like it's more of my style as I evolve and change and grow older over the years. It's more like I don't sell. And as strange as that sounds, the whole reason is at a point, like when you do sales, sooner or later you reach the point where you start selling for yourself, and you have more authority, and you have more content doing the selling for you. So at this point, it's like there's so many people booking calls with me just to see how I close. And I know that's what people do. So I kind of stopped taking calls anymore. I let some of my students do it. And I really don't sell like I did 5, 10 years ago. Very technical, very methodical, very systematic, and play a lot of games and do a lot of techniques. When you grow older, you get to a point you just stop and you just tell people what's up, right? The second path involves more understanding energy and putting aside all the techniques, like all the different tonalities, all the different games. The other person that you're trying to sell probably watch more YouTube videos than you. So as soon as you try to frame the call with Superman's authority, they are like, dude, I took the same sales course as you did. So I feel like the way to go moving forward is really to be you, to be as raw and as authentic as you can, and to really understand that in a sale, what's really happening is, first of all, that person needs to trust you. And without that trust, if you're doing technique, playing games all the time, if that person just can't feel like I can trust you, I'm not seeing the real raw you, like you have something you want from me and I'm not seeing what's really up, you're gonna have a very hard time doing anything at all. All that $10,000-$20,000 that you spend on sales courses, it's not going to get through at all, because right from the beginning you already violated the most important principle in sale, which is that principle of trust and connection. And you cannot ask me how to build that. I'm not going to write a book and okay, maybe I will sometime down the road, like 100 techniques to build trust, right? How do you trust someone? How do you look at someone and go like, I might not like this guy, but I'm going to listen to what he says and it's probably going to help me even though I don't like it. I don't think like this person there's nothing this person wants from me. I should probably listen, So that first principle is trust. Does the person even trust you? And does the person, after trusting you and you've diagnosed the situation, then the next big principle we want to talk about is the process. Does that person actually understand your process? And for those of you who's going to ask me, what is a process and do you have any examples? A process is just the big picture. It's the summary. It's not everything that you have to sell. For those of you who are coaches, consultants, you have your own thing going. Like, it's not about teaching. It is not about consulting for free. It's not about coaching for free. But you're going to say that for all the results that I've helped people get, these are the big 5, 6, 7 steps. Step 1, you do this. Step 2, you like when I sell to closers, I tell them the big one is you have to really brand yourself, and you have to learn how to set, you have to learn how to close, and you have to learn how to plan your time well, and do this sorts of remote career, and all these are all the big milestones that you have to conquer to successfully transition from your 9 to 5 into remote closing. And they can see for themselves that, well, it's true. If I don't have a personal brand, if I don't learn how to get my own leads, if I don't learn how to close influencers, if I don't learn how to get my shit together, it's true. I'm going to have a very difficult time. If I don't know what are my goals, how I'm going to get my mindset in the right place, I probably won't last very long in the space. So your process doesn't have to be very detailed, and you're not going to have enough time, to teach everything on that first meeting, second meeting. So you want to lay out everything, your processes, your methodologies, your big picture, and you don't have to ask me how, because that's up to you to figure it out. And the reason is because it's never fixed. Like when you grow as a leader, when you put stuff out there, you get feedback and you get better at what you do. Like all the processes that you currently have now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, it's going to change. It's going to be different. It's just an extension of you. So you just want to update it and keep it as relevant as you can. And when you sell to someone, whether they should become your client, a big part is checking in the first place whether do they understand your process at all. Is it clear? Okay, is it clear? And if they understand and you check their understanding, they're like, yeah, I understand your process. It is 100% clear. Okay, you check, really, do you understand this? What about that? What about that? And they understand. The next part is to really check, do they trust the process? Well, they already trust you, they understand your process. Do they trust the process? Because at that point, you cannot actually guarantee anything. So to a very significant degree, by them understanding your process, there is a certain element of risk that they're gonna have to take if they decide to go ahead with you and you do successfully close the sale. And that part is them trusting your process. And how are you going to build trust in your process is by showing them proof that matches their very specific concerns. Someone you've helped that's worse off than them. Someone you've helped that is the same as them. Someone you've helped that's better than them, right? And the more this gets into the system, the more they can see that, okay, in the beginning, there's not much I can trust. But after seeing like proof and proof and proof of all these people that you've helped, I can clearly see that I have more trust in your process now. And there is less doubt. And it is still a risk that I'm going to take. But you know what? At this point, the risk has got to a point where I'm able to invest and I'm able to make that leap, so to speak, and you get the close, right? And for those of you saying, oh, what if I have no proof and what if I have nothing to show? Then you really need to just go and help 5-10 people for free, okay? And then document that process. And this is also a way to show yourself, to convince yourself that you are actually good, really good at what you do and you deserve to be having that business, because you actually help 5-10 people and they're super happy, they got amazing results because of you. So at this point, there's not much you have to sell, because the fact that you're able to help all these people already sells itself. And you're going to make your life on those sales calls, sales meetings so much easier, because people can see that you're someone that can get those results. So it is much easier to understand what you do, and it is much easier to trust your process, right? So we've covered trust, we've covered the process. And the third one, the big final one, is really, it's a combination of two things, okay? The first one is them understanding your solution, which is the actual offer itself. Maybe it's a coaching program, maybe it's your product, maybe it's your software, maybe it's a service. They actually need to see all the what and how inside now and to gain full trust into the product. So as much as you can be transparent, just show them what's inside, and let them experience it. Let them know that, hey, you're not investing in something that, or the people are not going to help you, the people are not going to reply you. Like, there's enough of all these guys out there that you just need to be as real, as raw, as authentic and transparent. You don't have to take the first route, which is to do all that technique. Then at this time and age, everyone already knows that you are selling me, right? When they get on Zoom, when they get on a sales appointment, they know you're selling me. They know you are going to get commissions, right? So I prefer now to take the second path, the second route, which is just to show everything as it is. And if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. There's not much I can do about it. But I trust my product. I know that it can help you get to where you want to get. And if I have to drag you in, something is wrong. If you have seen all this and you can't decide for yourself, go ahead, right? Go to a competitor. Go do your research. Eventually, the truth is the truth. And that is so much more effortless way to sell. You have so much more energy. You can do like 5, 6, 7, 8 calls and still have the same energy that when you first start. Okay, so it's a combination of that and also this principle, a really important principle, which is the principle of decision. Okay, so at the end of the day, think about this. If someone logically speaking, ideally speaking, if someone fully trusts you as much as possible, they fully understand your process and they trust that process enough to a point where they're able to make the leap and they are resourceful enough, okay, they see the ROI, they see the future that by making this leap, I'm going to get my ROI back. My chances of winning are higher. I'm much better off than I was yesterday. I can now sleep at night because I feel secure about tomorrow. Okay. At this point, a lot of people ask me, what if they have a price objection? What if they have a spouse objection? What if they say it's not the right time objection? What if they say I need to pray, like, a God objection? Then again, in the first path, there's like a million causes out there that's gonna say, oh wow, if they say, oh, I gotta talk to my wife first, then you counter that by saying, oh, what if your wife were here, what would she say, right? Then someone say, hey, if it's not the right time, then you say, well, it's not the right time. Then why did you say earlier on that, oh, you must absolutely do it? There's so many courses teaching all these gimmicks and techniques. The moment you say it, your prospect probably can say it back to you. Like I said, they probably took the same course, right? So then all the $10,000-$20,000 that you invested, in the 50 ways to overcome the spouse objection, they use it back on you and they say, hey, I took the same program. I know that you are doing the so-and-so technique, right? So the way I see it is we just need to focus on the decision, because when you get your prospect to say, okay, let's really think about this, and you can give me a no, right? I've done enough calls to know that when you pull out your spouse, you pull out all these things, it's either you're not clear on the process, you don't trust the process, or you don't trust me, or you're not clear about what the decision is, right? So you have to really be sharp and clear and lay it all out to see that is the issue with the first part of the sale where the trust is not there? Is the issue with the second part of the sale where they're not understanding or trusting the process? Or is the issue with the third part of the sale, which neither of us actually clarified what the real decision is? Because if you knew everything and you knew that doing this gives you the highest chances of winning, let's get to the point. Like, what is it really? Because after this call, I might probably never see or hear from you again. So if there's ever a time to get the good, the bad, and the ugly out, let's hash it all out now. And if we never speak again, so be it. If you never want to hear from me again, so be it. But if there's something that I can actually help you with right now, before this call is over, like, let's get it out. So decision-wise, what are you thinking? This is not a technique. This is not a game. This is not someone and you can't even do this as a technique, because you really need to hash it all out if you see what went wrong and how you can help. And if it's no sale, there's no sale, forget it. Okay. So after doing closing for so long, you have a choice as well. Do you want to take the first path, and which is like really become a technician, a master technician? And that is one way to go. I'm not saying, like, there are a lot of people who are very, very successful. They ended up teaching this. What I teach is lean and zen. How can you make the most impact by having the least amount of wastage in a way that's most aligned to your values and most authentic for you? So if you don't want to sell like a robot, if you don't want to sell like a machine, and you truly want to sell in a way where that person feels really comfortable talking to you, really comfortable talking about money, really comfortable saying, deep down, what I'm really afraid is what if this happened? And there you have it. Like the real things behind those objections. Like sometimes the spouse isn't even real, Sometimes the time thing isn't even real at all. You should know, like, when you buy stuff and you tell people, like spouse and wife, you don't really mean it. Like deep down, there's always a real concern that sometimes, like, to save face, save pride, like we don't say it on the phone, right? So the more you be yourself, the more you are allowing the prospect to be themselves. And when none of us are playing games and running techniques, that's when the most impact can be made. And that's what I truly believe is in the lean and zen way that I can't really teach. That's just a name that I give to the philosophy that you can see I'm now subscribed to. So I hope this video can give you clarity on which path you like to take. Of course, it can be a blend of the two. And I hope that it'll save you tons of time, money, effort, energy, circling around the maze of how to counter the spouse objection. Is the spouse even real? How many spouse does this person have, right? Save yourself all that time, money, effort, energy, and truly, truly sell without selling. Simple sales. Until next time, it's Sena, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.